Here, everyone, welcome. This is Derrick Delliquadri, president of Vision InfoSoft, and Brian Hoffelder here is with me, our training and product manager. This webinar is our Vision's pop-up webinar for making money with change orders.
Okay, so everyone should see my outline for the webinar here today. The purpose of these little pop-up webinars is to keep the topic to one short, succinct topic for the webinar. So today's topic is change orders, which is kind of a unique situation for a contractor because you're in a little bit different position as far as how you put your pricing together. This scenario we're talking about is the scenario where you've been requested or you need to request approval for a change order. So something in the field has changed, something in the design maybe is not correct, or maybe there's changes that the owner or contractors are making and you need to give somebody a price to do the changes. So we're going to talk about the variables that come into play and what you have to work with. And you'll see those four things on the screen here. We'll get into a little more detail on those: the hourly rates, the labor units, the material pricing, and then of course your overhead and profit. And then we'll finish up with some of the reports that you can generate in relationship or for a change order. Now, change orders in our program have a different setup area because we realize that change orders are different than bidding a job. Under the settings and the default settings, you'll see we have defaults for jobs and defaults for change orders. And of course, a lot of the defaults will be different. So one of the first things we could talk about is the hourly rate that you charge per hour on a change order. And I understand right off the top that all of these variables are going to be unique to your situation, to the contractor situation, and to the job. So these aren't things you can always standardize on, but they are the things that you can work with when you're doing a change order. Under the labor rates here, what I would typically put in here is an hourly rate that reflects what you charge per hour, if again that's an option. So maybe even what you charge for a service call, how much you charge for service work. So this hourly rate here is not your cost, hopefully, it's what you're going to charge per hour. Another factor here is the way you price the material. In a regular bid, you would use the target price. Typically, that's going to be close to your cost, the target price that comes from our Epic system. The trade price, which is often used for change orders, is a list price. The manufacturers establish a list price, and it is very commonly, again, not anything universal, but very commonly used for change orders. On labor, our column 3 is based on the NECA, the National Electrical Contractors Association's labor manual, and what they call standard. So you can even go up from that. But for change orders, it's very common to use the NECA labor column for the labor units, the number of hours that you're going to be using in your request for a change order. And then finally, the other option that we can take into account is the markup for overhead and or profit. Sometimes that's the most restrictive because you may have a contract that says you can only put 10% markup, period, on the job. But with these other variables, you know, the price of the material, the labor hours we're using, and the hourly rate, we've got a lot of options to play with. And I'll show you one more when we get to the final job extension. There's a way to put a material factor and not even show how much you're marking up the material. So let's create a little change order. Now, first of all, change orders are separate jobs. Instead of creating a new job, you come down here to change order, and you'll see a list of your jobs. If a job has a plus sign next to it, that means there's already at least one change order under it. So I'm going to create a new change order under this job called Sample Commercial Job. You can either double click on it or hit Create. And then it's going to pull information from the original job. You give the change order its own name. The program assigns a job number, a change order number, if you will. It takes the master number, puts CO in front, and then the change order number 2. Now you can do anything you want with that field. You're not locked into what the program creates there. You can give it the general contractor's change order number or make up your own. The master number, you want to leave that alone, though, because that's how it links it to the parent job. Now, in the work description here, you can type in what you're doing. This can be as detailed as you want. You've got other note fields you can pull in. It pulls in the name of the customer automatically from the master, the original job. So it's taking information automatically from the original job. We just hit OK. So at this point in the takeoff, it's pretty much like a regular job. I'm just going to make it simple. We're going to put in one feeder here. So under wire and conduit, we're going to go to feeders. And I'll give it a designation here. On the from to, I'm going to go from the main switchboard to panel P1. Now to give this a little bit more substance, I'm going to make this feeder have 2 conduits. Going to leave it on 2-inch EMT. But this option here for difficulty, if I was doing a bid, I would go down to the 2 parallel because I want to reduce my labor factors to be more competitive, to realize or to reflect the fact that you're running 2 conduits at the same time. Now, because this is a change order, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do anything to lower the labor hours. So we'd either leave it at standard or difficult. I'll leave the 4 3/0 wires, the number 6. I'm going to put in a total length of 160 feet. Now, because I've told it 2 conduits, it's going to generate 320 feet of pipe. That's one run. I'm going to put 3 elbows. That's per conduit, so I'm going to get 6. Now, to put this on a trapeze hanger, probably the most expensive installation, I'm going to change the support to a unistrut strap. And under the trapeze hanger tab, we're going to pick an assembly for the trapeze hanger itself. So we'll just go to trapeze hangers suspended from a steel beam. We'll do 2 foot wide with 2 foot rods. That's just telling us you're getting one of those assemblies every 8 feet. So that's all we have in this one change order is this one feeder. We're going to hit F2 takeoff. Maybe bump up my wire makeup length a little more than I normally use. And there's our feeder. There's our takeoff. So from here we go to reports, and this is where we can start discussing some of the variables we can select from on the change order. Under reports, just like a regular bid, you go to job extension. So remember, the default here is the trade price as opposed to the target price or your cost. On labor, the default is column 3, where typically you're going to be using column 2 or maybe even column 1 for a bid. So we're going to hit extension spreadsheet. So again, we've got the highest material price. We've got the highest labor column for hours. There's my material total, 15,859 and 140 hours of labor. Now, depending on the situation, again, you may or may not want to or have to give this report to who's ever going to approve it. Sometimes they require a material labor breakdown. I would say most customers tell me if they don't require it, they don't give it to them. Although some do just to give it more credibility. So that's your option, obviously, is to print this report and print it on a hard copy, or more likely you want to print it in an electronic PDF format so that when you submit it, you'll be able to give them electronic files, electronic reports. And then the final report is job totals, just like a regular bid. So this whole process is the same flow as a regular bid. It's just that we're doing things differently as far as the price and labor. So there's that $80 hourly rate. Again, that may be something that's negotiated as part of your contract. You may have to be a little more, may have to lower that rate a little bit. And like I said at the beginning, overhead and profit are often qualified in your contract. If not, 15 and 10 is maybe not out of line. So I've got all the way up to $35,000 on this one little change order. Now, just to flip back a page, let's say I wanted to see what my actual cost was on that, on the $35,000 change order. I'm going to go back to job extension and change my price to the target price. I'm going to change the labor back to column 2. I'm going to hit extension spreadsheet. I'm going to save this, call it cost. See those numbers drop quite a bit. We go to job totals. So my actual cost on that $35,000 change order is only $11,483. So there's a nice little margin in that you wouldn't normally get. I didn't put overhead and profit in there, but that's my actual cost. I could even flip this back to my normal labor rate. Let's say it's more like $35 an hour. So now I'm even lower. I'm down to $8,215. Now I can flip back to that other summary here that I'm going to actually use on the change order by just clicking up here and going back to the default. Pretty nice little difference there between the two price levels, huh?
Very nice.
And again, I work with contractors, small, medium, and large. What I've learned from the large contractors over the years that the smaller contractors are a little bit fearful of is, not being afraid to use these kind of numbers on change orders. A lot of the big contractors, they absolutely use the best case scenario they can for a change order. Now, if I want to turn this into a little report, a form letter, if you will, we have one built into the program down here for form letters. There's one called change order down here. Now, these form letters are templates. They're built into the program so you can customize them to any degree that you want. Up here at the top, you'll see it's putting your company name and address in here. You could put a logo in there instead. You can move things around. Here's what's happening just real briefly behind the scene, is you've got these fields. You can either move them around. You can add fields, delete fields. You can add text, delete text. You can insert images. If you just want to make some changes for the particular change order, you need to save it under a different name here. So we're going to call this CO 5-2. And then you can hit edit template. And you can type in maybe a note under here, per revised drawings, dated April. It pulled in the name, the work description from the job. It pulled in the amount from the job. If you don't want to submit those reports, one or both of them, you can just delete those lines from the form letter. It puts in your name down here as the estimator. Takes care of a lot of that detail work, pulling information from the change order itself or from your program setup. When you're done, you can save that. And you're good to go. One more little option here. If you're not comfortable using the trade price, but you want to use something more than the target price, you can go back to the job extension screen, flip it back to target, but put a price factor in here. Maybe you want to build in a 25% markup on your material. If you don't check to print that factor, it just gets built into the price. Nobody sees the target price. They just see the target price adjusted up by 25%. Same thing on labor. If you want to go to column 3 and add 25%, you can even do that. So you've got a lot of variables you can work with here on change selections to better your markup on your profit.
Ryan, I have someone that raised their hand.
Sure.
Should we check on to see if they have a question?
Yeah, let me activate his audio.
Ken, did you have a question?
Did you activate it?
Not yet. I'll let you control that.
I just activated your audio, Ken. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was just trying to help you quantify it because I do have a hard time with owner's reps sometimes when I have to show the report using that target price. And some sharp ones out there saying this is a really big number on that material. Because if you compare your target to your listing price, the trade price, that's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
Is there any language or anything like I could sell them on the labor factor because it's process, moving guys from one area to another area and have to come back to that area. I can justify the labor rate going up on a change order. I have a hard time justifying the material when I use target.
Trade price, you mean?
Yes, trade price. I'm sorry. Yes.
And I totally agree with you. Of all the variables, those 4 ones I mentioned at the beginning, the material price is probably the most difficult one because to some extent they can check your prices. I think they don't do that as often or to the extent that a lot of people think they do because they don't know what a lot of that stuff is. Now, again, if they want to take the time and they want to go out and check pricing and they've got a supplier that is willing to give them pricing, then, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But there are contracts that say that you can use what they have called in the industry the end column price. That's the trade price. It's officially called the suggested wholesale price. So you could use that when you're discussing, but this is my suggested wholesale price. I'm not going to give you my actual hard cost on a change order. I'm using suggested wholesale, which sounds fair. But I agree with you. That's the toughest one to negotiate on is the pricing.
Okay, got it.
Thanks for that comment, though.
Yeah, that's a good question or comment.
Any other questions or see some familiar names in there?
Did you have? I cut you off. Did you want to just continue or?
No, that's about it.
Okay.
So
I haven't gotten any text questions. I think you touched on the idea that some contracts won't allow you to do certain things on change orders.
the one they're probably most likely to nail you on is the markup.
Yeah.
The contract may say, I've even heard of situations where they'll only allow a 5% markup for overhead and profit. Well, that means you got to be a little tougher on the other variables, which, and like Ken said, the labor units, that's just a done deal. You can't be expected to use the competitive labor units that you would on a bid for a change order because you've got to take into account all the disruptions in your work. The workflow is going to be changed. You've got to stop doing things at some places, and that's going to affect your overall productivity. So I think about the 4 variables that you really want to be stick to your guns on are the labor units.
Got it. All right. I can't think of anything else to
Nope.
bring up, but I think we've covered it on this one. We kept this one nice and short and sweet. We will be doing these webinars every month, if not more frequent. I know Brian and I have talked about doing them more frequently. We don't have a locked in subject for the next one, but you'll hear about it. And again, please take a look at us on Twitter or LinkedIn, or if you're on Facebook and YouTube, of course, follow us there. But you'll get more information from us about these webinars and about other things that we're up to with our software, our updates, and maybe trade shows we're going to and training we're doing across the U.S.
So we do have a list of tentative topics we're going to be doing these pop-up webinars on.
Mhm.
But if you've got suggestions on just single isolated topics, I think this is a good way to focus on something without having to sit behind your computer for an hour or so just to get some specific information on one topic.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.